Welcome to BOONAFIT Virtual Aerial Tours. Today we enter the Gobi, one of Earth's great cold deserts. The Gobi is a cold desert, defined by dryness, not by heat. Winters bite, summers blaze, and rain is scarce. A desert is a place of water scarcity. The Gobi's calm comes from how little moisture arrives each year. And like many deserts, the Gobi isn't only sand. Much of it is rock, gravel, and hard-packed earth. The Gobi spans southern Mongolia and northern China, an immense frontier between steppe and mountain. It's a shared landscape, crossing borders, climates, and centuries of travel routes. Its scale is enormous, thousands of kilometers of open land where horizons feel endless. In winter, cold air settles over the plains. Snow can fall, then vanish into dry wind. In summer, the ground heats fast. The same dry air that freezes can also scorch. The Gobi shifts between arid and semi-arid zones, changing subtly with elevation and season. Mountains and basins shape it, blocking moisture, guiding wind, carving rain shadows. Routes cut across the open land, modern lines following ancient logic. Water, shelter, and safe ground. For centuries, caravans crossed nearby corridors, trade moving slowly under wide skies. Dry channels mark where water once moved, rare, seasonal, and important when it arrives. Where springs appear, life gathers, small islands in a large dry sea. In this sub-episode, we'll map the Gobi, explore its landforms, meet its inhabitants, and end beneath its night sky. Now, let's begin. We fly low and slow, letting the Gobi reveal itself. From above, gravel becomes a natural mosaic, stones arranged by time and wind. At the steppe's edge, grass thins into desert, an almost invisible transition. Sometimes sand appears as a faint line, softness at the far edge of stone. Erosion draws fine lines across the land, quiet evidence of long change. Pale flats hint at ancient lakes, water remembered in minerals. Boulders sit like punctuation marks in an open sentence of space. Badlands fold and cut, revealing layers beneath the surface. A dust devil spins briefly, small weather made visible. Cloud shadows move like waves, changing the desert's mood in seconds. The Gobi sky is half the landscape, open, bright and vast. Different regions carry different names, but the same feeling of distance. Shrubs align with wind, nature's quiet compass. Faint trails cross the ground, evidence of lives that move lightly. Some mornings begin with frost, white edges on a dry world. Colours shift, red soils, pale salts, dark stone, an earth palette always changing. Horizon lines calm the mind, simple geometry, endless space. A lone tree becomes a landmark, proof that persistence can take root. Where sand gathers, wind writes ripples, soft handwriting across the ground. Far rims of mountains hold the horizon, quiet anchors in a sea of air. Next, we go deeper into the Gobi's signature landscapes, dunes, cliffs and stone plains. Open space invites slow breathing and steady attention. Open space encourages a slower pace and a steadier focus. In open space, attention settles. Nothing rushes you. Wide ground and wide sky make room for calm. Open space encourages a slower pace and a steadier focus. Let the horizon slow your thoughts. In open space, attention settles. Nothing rushes you. Listen for the implied wind. Wide ground and wide sky make room for calm. Follow the gentle drift. Open space encourages a slower pace and a steadier focus. Notice the fine textures. In open space, attention settles. Nothing rushes you. Watch how shadows change. Wide ground and wide sky make room for calm. Let the horizon slow your thoughts. Open space encourages a slower pace and a steadier focus. Listen for the implied wind. In open space, attention settles. Nothing rushes you. Follow the gentle drift. Wide ground and wide sky make room for calm. Notice the fine textures. Here, sand becomes architecture, towering dunes rising from a sea of gravel. Crests cut clean lines, light on one side, shadow on the other. Ripples overlap like waves, each gust leaving a new layer. Even still, dunes move, grain by grain, sliding down the slope. Dunes gather at mountain feet, softness meeting stone. Most of the Gobi is stone plain, hard ground carrying wind and silence. Wind sculpts ridges and grooves, rock shaped by persistent air. Badlands fracture into gullies, an atlas of erosion. In places, cliffs glow red, earth on fire in the evening sun. Layers stack like pages, time pressed into stone. Salt patches hint at ancient lakes, water that once filled these basins. When rare floods come, they spread into fans, brief power across a dry world. Passes guide movement, natural corridors through rock. As heat fades, dunes soften, colours shifting toward evening. Here, the ground changes quickly, sand to gravel, gravel to rock. Cracked clay forms polygons, geometry born from drying. Dark stone deepens shadows and cools the palate. From high above, dunes become a calm sea of curves. Crescent dunes face the wind, simple shapes, steady motion. Between dunes, corridors open, quiet pathways of shade. Stone armor protects fine soil beneath, nature's pavement. Sometimes the horizon arrives as dust, a moving edge of weather. An isolated outcrop rises like an island, stone in a sea of air. Braided channels branch and rejoin, water's memory in dry lines. Eroded towers stand like sculptures, fragile, patient, precise. Mineral streaks add colour, hidden chemistry revealed. Not all sand forms dunes. Some spreads flat in thin sheets. Long shadows turn ridges into bold graphic shapes. Red cliffs hold sunrise like embers. A plateau edge reveals basins below, depth in an open land. Spindrift lifts from crests, sand briefly airborne. Bands of texture alternate, soft and hard, side by side. Next, we meet the living Gobi, wildlife, people and survival. Life here is sparse but real, adapted to cold, wind and distance. Bactrian camels are built for extremes, cold nights, dry days, long travel. Tracks stitch the surface, journeys recorded in temporary lines. Nomad families move with seasons, homes that travel with the weather. Horses drift across the grassland edge, motion as calm as the wind. Herding follows the land's rhythm, seeking shelter, grazing and water. A spring or well can shape an entire route, where to rest, where to pass. Marmots borrow underground coolness, living with daily extremes. Where rock rises, wild sheep and ibex find thin edges to stand on. Antelope cross open ground quickly, built for wide spaces and scarce water. Raptors ride thermals above ridges, seeing farther than we can. Birds gather where water lingers, brief motion in a quiet scene. Saxall shrubs hold dunes in place, roots gripping sand against wind. After rare rain, colour appears quickly, then fades back into calm. High ridges can be snow leopard country, remote, quiet, watchful. Small survivors move at the right hour. Timing is everything here. Tracks reveal who passed through without ever being seen. Even plants endure frost, holding shape through cold air. People work with wind, guiding it, blocking it, living beside it. Towns sit at thresholds, between open plains and sheltered valleys. Stops are planned, fuel, water and time, all counted carefully. Shelter can be as simple as a rock wall, and a bit of shade. Sparse grazing teaches patience, small bites across wide ground. A thin green strip can transform the desert into a corridor of life. Waypoints mark the land, signs for travelers, memory for routes. At night, warmth becomes precious, small light in a vast dark. Predators move quietly, built for patience and distance. Migration passes through, life flowing above the hard ground. Much of desert life is underground, cool, protected, hidden. Next, we let the Gobi settle into weather, dusk, and the night sky. Weather moves fast here, light and shadow shifting across open ground. Rain can arrive as a distant curtain, brief, scattered, and precious. Wind is the constant, reshaping the surface, cooling the air, clearing the sky. At sunset, the Gobi warms in colour, gold light on sand and stone. Blue hour lowers the volume, everything becomes softer. Under clear air, stars feel closer, quiet points above a quiet land. Even in low light, the land keeps its shape, ridges, curves, and stillness. Before dawn, the world holds its breath. Then light returns. Sunrise brings the palette back. Gold on sand, blue in shadow. One last flight across dunes, cliffs and stone plains, everything connected by wind. A slow glide lets details appear without effort. Texture becomes the story, stone, sand and time. Warm rock holds the day's last heat. Dry lines map the land like veins without water. Even small shadows add depth to the scene. Movement becomes a dot. Distance becomes calm. Big sky makes space for thoughts to settle. A brief spiral of dust, then stillness again. Dune arcs repeat, never identical, always graceful. Quiet arrives with cooler air and softer light. The sky moves while the land stays still. Moonlight turns the desert into a calm monochrome. And then, light returns, gentle and steady. A new day resets the desert's colors. Subscribe for the next desert in our series: Atacama, Arabian, Sahara and beyond.